Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rollquests, Chapter 3, Episode 1. Yay!
Take away 7, carry the 3.
Yeah, Episode 92, like otherwise known as Episode 21, but yeah.
21.
We're on 21.
But Chapter 3, Episode 1.
Welcome to the madhouse. Yes.
Okay, we left off. The party had gone into Baletown, and they'd conned their way into the slavers part of the town and were escorted into the Golden Tooth, which was a high-class kind of tavern that seemed to be a location that only special merchants or some more high-end officials of Hagen's Red Eye gang hang out. You've been escorted in and sat down at the table, whereby instantly you were brought some lavish foods and drinks. The place inside is, for the time, the era kind of thing, and compared to any other place you've seen, very lavishly decked out. It has, even outside, it has some kind of gas lamping system. It's pretty
gaslighting.
posh.
Nobody trusts anything they say.
No, I rarely do anyway.
And you were enjoying yourself when we left the last episode with this wonderful food that you've been given. Is there anything that the four of you wish to do before things move on? So you have a few moments to yourselves whereby if there's something particularly you want to do it now.
Well, we do know we've got to somehow purchase this guy, don't we?
Now, isn't Gorgamain going to be sold as a slave, as Eris was saying? Well, my stealth and intrusion skills aren't exactly good, shall we say.
Ash, they're crap.
I wouldn't be that harsh. Out of the armor, I'm not too bad. I can stalk prey, but when it comes to actually...
Out of the armor? You're only out of the armor when you're having a bath. In fact, I've known you jump in with it on and pretend you had a bath.
I think you'll find I did have a bath. Granted, I did go into the swamp in it, but that's not a bath. That was an attempted rescue and a friend that might have been in there. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is that I might...
If I remember rightly, we were knocking on trees at the time.
Yeah.
Are you in there? Hello?
Exactly.
Trace,
But what I'm saying...
where are you?
What I'm saying is my usual thing here would be, how do I put it? Aggressive. My usual approach would be a bit more
Forward?
Yeah, thank you. Brutal, I was thinking, but that'll do. So I'm going to have to defer to people who are more cunning, more low, more devious than me. That would be you, by the way, Riv.
I figured. But I don't think we're going to be sneaking our way onto that boat, though. Presumably where our friend is being held. So we're going to have to find some other way to get there.
It doesn't take any large perception to notice a very well-dressed gentleman heading in your direction.
Oh, God. Heads up, guys.
A rather posh, well-decked-out gentleman strolls up to your table, takes a chair, and sits at your table directly opposite as many of you as possible, looks at you all, smiles, and says, "My name is Giovanna St. Louis, and this is my establishment."
It's a very nice pub.
And a very, very pleasant establishment it is,
Pub.
Giovannis. And we thank you for hosting us.
Well,
Telling others.
thank you very much. The thing is, see, I get notified in advance of all clientele that will be staying at my establishment before they arrive. And I was not aware that I was due any more guests tonight. So, if you do not mind, please eat and drink up. But if you do not mind, could you tell me exactly who you all are?
You don't know?
Hired muscle.
Strange. So, you have not been informed of our coming here at all?
As I said, could you please explain who you all are? Because I do not know who you are.
Oh, that's not very odd, isn't it? We're here to peruse your slaves that you have up for sale.
They're not mine.
Obviously, slip of the tongue. My apologies.
So you are new slave merchants?
Correct. Very new.
Where have you arrived from? I mean, I've not known you be here before.
You will be our first establishment. This is our endeavour that a few of us have decided to venture forth on. And here we were told would be a good start. You have a very good reputation.
And where...
Flannel.
And where, may I ask, are you going to be, who are you trading these slaves with, may I ask?
At the moment, we have a requirement of one of our companions who isn't here, as you see at the moment, plus some others that we'd like to peruse to see what exactly, I've been so new at this, what exactly you are, how many, what various types you have here. We might in the end only come out with one or two for our own use, but we thought this is the best way forward to come to some such expert and discerning individual as yourself.
Okay, that sounds fine. Just one more thing, just to make sure everything is in order.
Sure. Absolutely.
You couldn't actually just show the expected bag or whatever it is of finance that you have to back up the fact that you are who you say you are?
We all peer at Riv. Oh, yeah, we all peer at Riv.
If you feel it necessary.
Yes, I do. How much is in that bag, Riv?
That is a good question. Let me double check that real quick.
No worries.
Laura Gold.
So you're pouring down on the table somewhere in the region of about 500 or so gold, yeah?
Yeah.
In which case the gentleman looks as you start piling various bags onto the table, and he says, "Oh, okay, enough's enough." He says, "That's fine, pour it away. Welcome," he says, "to the Golden Tooth. You clearly are who you say you are. In which case, as this is your first time here, your rooms will be free. As always, the rooms at the inn cover all foods and all drinks while you are staying here. I do hope you enjoy your stay in Baletown. And I will arrange for you to... I mean, clearly you've missed all the viewings today. The auction will actually be announced and finished tomorrow, so I better try and see if we can get one more viewing in for you if you haven't actually purchased or bidded yet. At which point he raises his arm and he kind of like clicks and waves towards the front doors. A lady walks over from the front doors. She is dressed clearly in some kind of combat gear, but not overly so. There's some mail hidden underneath some leathers, but she is kind of covering all of her armors with yeah, some kind of clothing that makes it fit into this establishment. And
I stick out like a sore thumb then.
Well, we'll come to that in a minute. He turns to her and says, Swana, these gentlemen are here to look at the slaves and put some bid offers in. Are they closed for the night? Have you finished? She looks at you all. She says, no, she said, I suppose we could fit in one more round. Let me go and just get my guards and everything ready, get the slaves woken up, get them lined up for inspection, and in about 30 minutes, could you please go and round up all of the merchants yet again for one more pass? And with that, she turns around and heads away. Javanus looks at you all and says, well, you are in luck. It looks like they will allow you to have a viewing. I suggest you try and decide who amongst you needs to go. You're clearly allowed to take physicians and whatever else you want with you, and he looks at Ash at this point and says, you clearly won't be needing any protection. Let's just say that. And with that, Javanus gets up, bows, and says, I hope you enjoy your food.
Really?
And he heads
You're
off.
asking us to go to a place with known slave takers with a lot of money and telling us we won't need any protection.
Javanus has actually walked away at this point.
I say it as he walks away so that he can
Javanus turns back to you. Okay. Sorry?
You're a place that takes slaves, sells slaves. We are a group of people that has money, and you're telling us we don't need protection.
You do not need protection if you're a merchant. No, you are absolutely fine here, and you will be completely fine in my establishment also. If anybody at all threatens you in any kind of way or attempts to attack you or hurt you in any kind of way,
I'll twist their necks off.
Believe me, we will deal with them.
My perception.
Okay, of course you can give a light perception. Yeah.
Never mind.
You can give me a streetwise. You can give me a streetwise.
Oh, I can do streetwise.
You can give me a streetwise.
Thank you. Give me a second.
And I was going to say, if
Just see if his eyes.
93.
Oh, nice.
You obviously don't notice anything at all with regards to the person that was speaking, but when he gestured,
I wonder, did he look at any direction?
Yeah, he gave a flourish in the room as he said that. At which point, Riv. Well, only Riv would have noticed, because Riv would have noticed some kind of thieves' markings, etc., in certain places to denote the area is some kind of guild quarters of some type, which means it would be definitely out of bounds for anybody to do anything stupid or suffer the wrath of some kind of organization. You can't tell the organization because you don't know it. But
and I'll flip that back onto you then, Ref. This is the Lawless Lands.
Yes, so there's some kind of of course, some kind of organization that owns this establishment.
There is. That if the organization decides to take us, they're the problem.
Oh, yeah. Of course, you're going to take their word at it, of course.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be much of a slavers guild if you didn't actually trade with merchants.
Gain slaves.
Yeah, but you don't steal the people you're going to sell them to.
It's bad for business to steal the people.
Otherwise, you just end up with slaves you can't get rid of. At which point, you will be served yet again by several waitresses who are carrying more foods and drinks. You do notice at this point as well that the waitresses clearly have some kind of branding in their left arm bicep that's quite heavily burned and scarred into the bicep to basically clearly show that they are owned. It's something you don't usually do with slaves. You don't usually brand a slave that badly because it means you can't trade the slave. Because
they're obviously never leaving here.
Well, yeah, to actually cure that, you would actually have to cut away the muscle and the flesh and then do a regeneration back on that muscle to get it back. Now, you could do that with various enchanted herbs, but that's probably an expense far more than the slave. So you wouldn't bother. Not for a slave. You just go buy another slave.
Are they marked in any other ways, Tone? Have they seem excessively mistreated in the past, or perhaps
No.
they were?
They seem to be extremely well pampered. They've makeup. They've got nice hairstyles. They're perfumed. They're well dressed. They're very polite to you, but they are branded. Okay, well, they've actually assigned you rooms, and somebody will come over and give you keys to rooms. They've assigned you all an individual room each, so you can
Get cleaned up.
I get to use my perfumed soap. Yes, I have soap. Shush.
You go to your rooms. Your rooms
Soap is good.
are luxurious as far as your standards are concerned. There are bed sheets, there are pillows with feathers in them. Definitely a nice establishment. The rooms all have locks. They have safes inside for you to store stuff. There's a key in there for you to use. The windows can be locked, but they're also barred so that things can't really break in very easy.
Or break out.
Wow.
Or break out.
Or break out.
Could I get my armor in the safe? Is it a
No,
big safe?
but
I just wondered how big a safe it
there's
was.
chests there that you could use.
I shall get out of my my armor. I shall clean myself up as best I can, and I shall put on my decent clothing, which I haven't worn recently.
There is actually running hot water.
Luxury, luxury.
Oh, running water
Running hot
running
water.
in
Shady-
my fantasy game.
Yes. Somebody is spending a lot of money on this place.
They've also got gas lights out in the streets. Did you not notice them?
Oh no, I did.
Well, then running hot water is a fairly easy adaptation, isn't it?
It certainly is.
I will try and.
You have
more
your own
interesting
toilets as
is-
well.
More interesting is where they're getting the
Ooh.
gas from.
How unhygienic.
It has been going through my mind, Tom. Trace.
I'm going to try, remembering how I looked in the slave pens, I'm going to try and make myself look as little like that as possible. You know, comb my hair and plait it back and wear my decent clothes that aren't my native clothing. I am still carrying my warhammer on my hip and a dagger in my belt. They have running water. I just thought I'd mention that.
That's nice.
Is it hot?
Yes.
I'll be one moment, and then Riv will go up and sort himself out as well.
Yet again, lovely room. You'll all be given adjacent rooms. You're all next to each other.
Good.
That's handy.
If people don't object, I'll take a
Yes,
short
we could all
moment.
quickly sort ourselves out.
I shall see as I'm back downstairs on my own then. I shall peruse the room.
Is anybody else worried by that statement?
Me on my own perusing the
Yes,
room.
You, on your own. Before we go anywhere, I just say, Dave, Ash,
Ash,
do
yes.
stay there. When we roll out together, we'll all go down together. Just hang about here.
No, I'll wait downstairs.
I'll give you a
I'll
knock.
keep our seat.
I'll give you a knock.
I'll take our seat and
I'll
shall have a
give
drink.
you a
Don't
knock.
worry. You can knock me as much as you like. I'm going downstairs. I'm going to have a drink and I'm going to peruse the room.
Just don't.
I want to
say
catch.
anything.
What I'm basically looking for is right. We've got this captain of the guardy type woman. Yeah.
She's left, yeah.
Oh, good. We got other guards here. Other peacekeepers here, so to speak.
There are a couple by the door, well dressed, but you can tell that they are actually kitted for combat if needed. And in the small groups of people where there's clearly some of the merchants here, some of them have definitely brought some of their bodyguards in, but likewise, they're getting them to be suitably dressed for the location. But you can tell they are definitely.
Are they armored?
Maybe some studded leathers, some light chain maybe underneath. Nothing showy or obvious. The bodyguards would be toning down any kind of sign of combat.
Right. Because I've only got two modes: armor or no armor.
Mm-hmm.
Other than when she came round earlier. When I say earlier, I mean when I was here in the pens. Do I think she was one of the? Do I think that she was part of the attack on my caravan?
No. You know her. She is the auctioneer, basically.
But the one in all the armor and under her clothing.
Yes. She handles She's in charge, basically, of entertaining the merchants when it comes to bidding on the various slaves. So she would have checked you all over when you were previously in here, just to try and, think about how she could sell you. But she would have moved on. Quite quickly.
So she has quite a high appraise skill then.
A human appraise skill, yes.
Of course.
Or humanoid appraisal. Okay, while you're down there, you will get approached by somebody offering you some more drinks and food, and you will be asked, now that you're suitably attired, do you require any companions for the evening in your room?
No.
Nope.
This is only Ash, this is.
No,
I think he's
thank
down
you.
there on his own.
This is only I shall see how the evening goes.
They will smile and give you drinks and walk off. Okay.
They're going, I've never been approached and asked for that.
Okay, you are all gathered together. There is a summoning when Soana returns. She calls all of the merchant groups together that wish to go and reassess their current bids and the slaves, at which point 4 other merchants with a few people with them approach and gather in a group with yourselves, and she then escorts all of you out of that building, which is here, and you are all escorted across the ways to this building here, and you are led inside. Now, inside here is somewhere that Ash has seen before. Not usually from this angle, not usually when it's all nicely lit up and put on show. He was never there when it was put on show. You have an awful lot of slave pens in here. There are basically 30 small pens on the left side wall and on the right side wall. And there is a second tier of pens above them. And there is 30, well, about 15 actually, large pens in the middle of the room. Out of all of these pens, obviously not many of them have got slaves in. They haven't got that many in here, but their capacity is for a lot. You can see in the room right this moment way more guards and changes than when Ash was last here. At the back now, they've clearly built some kind of guard station with crossbow sort of like guards at the back, and they've also built a secondary door when you come through the first door as some kind of checkpoint. All of this stuff looks newly added, and all of the casks and cases and equipment that was previously stored in your Ash is no longer here. There's like an open space area instead.
Have they got? Well, we'll wait. I'll see if I'll see if I recognize any of the slaves themselves. But they probably had a turnaround by now.
Hi, Joe.
So, what you... yeah, exactly. How you doing? Are you hanging out? Are they feeding you well?
Sucks to be you.
So...
Why the fuck didn't you escape? Oh, wait.
So what you have is, first of all, Soana will address you four first. She will say, since you are new, I will just roughly go through what happens. And she leads you over to a table whereby there are a lot of small little wooden squared tiles. Not very big, you know, sort of like 2 or 3 inches across, kind of little square tiles. She says, when you wish to put a bid against a slave, you need to draw your emblem of your merchant's sigil on the one side with chalk, and then on the other side you put down the amount of gold you wish to bid. You take your little wooden thing and you slot it into the small box on the front of each cell. If the box is open, it will be closed for you. An open box means that nobody has bidded on that slave so far. Any closed box means that there are bids inside there. Tomorrow, what happens at 12 o'clock is you are all invited back. We will open randomly boxes. The person who has the highest bid can offer to pass and decline on their bid, or they can pay up. And if you haven't got the money to pay up, then obviously you can no longer afford and you'll have to automatically pass. So it's not in order that you see the slaves. It is going to be in the order that they are drawn. So bid wisely. Yeah. So what she's basically saying is, say you put 100 gold on every single slave in there, and then the one you wanted was actually the 8th one, but by the time you've got the 8th one, you've spent all your money, then you can no longer afford the 8th one, yeah? So passing and hedging your bets is part of the game, yeah? Okay, she will then get everybody together and say, for one more time, everybody, we will take a one to pass the slaves that we have in our stocks today. Please get ready. If you wish to add to your current bids, mind, you can just put a new chitty in on top of your old chitty to increase your current bid. It does not replace your current bid, and no, you cannot lower your current bid. So if you have bidded 20 gold and you wish to up it by 10, then just add 10 more gold to the chitty. She then takes you up to the first cell. Inside the first cell, standing to attention, otherwise they'll get beaten, is an extremely beautiful high elf lady. Definitely somebody of some status. And Swana says straight away, here we have in the first cell the prize of our collection. Straight up we have what is to be referred to as Lady Number 1. If you wish to bid on Lady Number 1, there was a minimum bid request from Hagen of 100 gold for this fine lady. But I know some of you have been quite frantic already of putting gold in there. So if anybody wishes to amend their bid and add a bit more, now is the time. A couple of the merchants kind of like look at each other and think about it and look at this high elf lady. She's just standing there.
I bring everybody over to a quick huddle.
Yep, they're doing the same kind of thing.
Guys, now he said it's 100 at the moment. That means people are frantically bidding. Just put 100 on a chitty. Make it look like you're bidding. Just put 100. You're not going to win it.
Okay.
But it makes it look like we're bidding.
Even if you do win it, even if we are the highest bidder,
Yes, we can always...
you can always pass.
Exactly.
There is no reason not to put a stupid number on every bid.
Oh,
and
no.
decide to
No.
pass.
Because that will ruin your face. You will lose face against them. Your reputation will be shocking as you
We
go
might
down.
miss
As you go down the
having-
list.
We also might miss having any money for who actually came here to
No,
buy.
we're not.
We're not buying.
We're not buying them.
Anybody apart from the one we want.
So
if you put a bid in and it's the highest bid,
no, he said
you can
it started.
pass.
It said it started on
you
100,
can pass it.
and there's already been
On this
frantic
one, yes,
bidding.
Yeah,
Stick one down for 100. You won't get
Indeed.
it, but you're looking like you're putting money on it.
indeed.
So it looks like you're serious.
Indeed. On this one, I agree.
This is how we deal in livestock. This is how we deal in rhinos and horses and things.
Sure what rhinos and horses and things have to do with it, but that's fine. Okay, so 100 on this.
It's how you buy things.
100 on this.
No, you
Yes.
give
Her.
money,
No, this
you
is-
get item. That's how you buy things. This is a crazy system.
This is bidding. This is a blind auction. And by the way, Riv, I'd like to point out that is a person, not a this.
Fair enough.
Good. I'm glad we understand each other.
Okay, so you're going to put some kind of sigil that you're going to try and remember on each little wooden chitty, and you're going to put 100 gold, yeah?
Oh, that's really not hard considering
No, I know.
who's probably the person putting it on there, Emrys.
That's
You're going to
fine.
come up. You're going to have to come up with our guild chitty sigil.
be able
Our
to read and
slaver.
write.
Our slaver sigil.
I think I can manage a little bit of reading and writing.
No, wait. No,
So
Are
worries.
there,
Smiley
are there
face.
any? Does she have any books with her?
She doesn't
No,
know.
she does not have any. But she's a slave.
She might be hiding it somewhere. I don't know.
She
Have to be a
definitely,
small one.
she definitely has the appearance in the area of 90 plus. By the way, she is stunning. Okay, the next cell they take you to has a small boy and girl child in there. The box is open, which means nobody has bothered bidding. They look a bit ragtag, and they're huddled together, cuddling each other in the corner of the cell.
Yes, let's bid
Huddled,
20,
huddled.
20
Come on.
gold on those.
What is the usual going rate for
Who are you asking?
the guy who's the auctioneer? The woman who's the auctioneer? Or if there's
Joanna.
attendants somewhere. So when I think, or if there's an attendant somewhere.
There's only Sawana, so you can ask her if you wish. What's the going rate? She smiles at you and says, "Clearly, I know you are new, but anything. Nothing less than a gold coin, though."
Are you committed to sell the slaves if the bid is successful, irrespective of the value? Or is there a reserve on the slaves?
There's no.
For example, were we to put 1 gold in for this pair,
Yes.
would that be below their reserve?
No. If there's a reserve, I will tell you. If you want these for a gold, by the looks of it, they're going to be yours. I don't think the other slavers want the children or could afford to feed the children. Oh, you're new. I just thought I'd let you know, for every 10 gold that you bid, you get given a day's worth of food for the slaves, automatically free of charge.
How generous.
Well, you have 2 slaves there for a gold. They will feed another slave for a few weeks.
If you wish to bid on them,
Good grief.
they can be used as food. They're your slaves.
I hold myself back from actually saying something. A genuine look of horror comes across my face for a few moments.
She really has no interest in them other than livestock.
Yeah.
That is what I wanted to ascertain.
Her moral
Yeah.
compass is in the drawer.
It's further south
So-
than Emerson Rives.
Who's signing this? Riv or Emrys? Who's putting the chitty down?
I will. I don't mind.
And how much are you putting in?
How much you putting? Just stick.
I will put
2.
2 gold in here.
Okay.
All that.
Oh, that, yeah, whichever.
You do realise, as you're looking around, there's probably about 20 cells here, so might have to pace yourself.
We got the cash, but we're just putting stuff.
Just
I would.
letting you know.
Can always choose to pass if we don't want them.
Exactly.
They should be rescued
She
from this.
closes the
servitude.
box
That's
when
what
your
I'm thinking,
chitty goes
Ash.
in. She closes
Buy
the
'em
box.
all!
The third cell takes you to, there is a rather weak looking, but not sickly, human male. He's standing there. He's not very strong. He's kind of like a bit wiry. Hasn't probably had a great meal in a long time.
Are we allowed to question these individuals?
You can, but they're only allowed to answer with their number.
So, no, we're not allowed to question.
Well,
No,
you
it
can.
doesn't.
But
They
if
can only answer with their number.
if they decide to answer differently, I'll just enjoy beating them.
So,
I
no, we
see.
can't question them.
I wonder if they have any skills. This was the questions I was interested
Oh,
in.
they might be able to nod yes and no for you. That's okay.
Well,
That's
we're
it.
up to this
Leave
one. And have you any
The box is closed, by the way, so somebody has
skills?
bid on him.
Have you any skills?
He'll just nod.
We don't recognise him, do we? He's not
I'll
our
lean
man.
a bit closer and quietly. Have you any magical skills? Just interested.
He's a single-minded individual, isn't he?
Are you?
This is easy to predict.
Can you read and write? That didn't really help me. Can you read?
3.
Move on.
Okay. Sit back down.
So they are numbering them by cages, not by their actual position. So she is lady number 1. This means that is boy and girl number 2, and this is man number 3.
Correct. And when they
Instead
draw
of
them, they'll be
Lady
drawing them
number 1,
randomly.
lady number 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to put all the money on number 6.
Okay, they go
No,
to
you're
the fourth
not.
cell. In the fourth cell is a big,
No, you're not.
strong
You put a money on
human,
anything.
a big, strong human male, well-fed, well-trained. He's definitely, obviously, had probably some kind of combat experience. He's got a few scars and things on him. He's a bit of a chunk.
But is he a good-looking chunk?
The box
he
is
got-
closed.
Box closed.
Yeah. It's nobody you know.
Somebody might like to know.
What do you reckon the going rate on these these slaves are? Not
The-
asking to put money on him, but
The
what do you reckon the
second
going rate
group
is?
of merchants actually is going to put another chitty in on that one.
We
The
have no
problem-
frame of reference.
Exactly, that's what I'm getting at. Thank you.
And they
Is
are
that-
not setting a standard.
It doesn't
something
help
to
because it's a
reference to.
sealed bid. We can't even see as normal. You'll have somebody brought up, and
You-
everybody bids for it, and then that's finished. Move on to the next sale. This is a bit more unusual.
You can, if you all wish, give me a perception check on that coin and that chitty he just put in that box.
to see if we
Yes,
spot what
I
you wrote on
will.
it.
Correct.
General
But again,
perception, yeah?
He may not be.
No. I think that's actually a fumble from me. Oh, no, one off a fumble.
Oh,
There
that's
we
quite nice from Trace. Oh, couple of good. Okay, we have several perceptions.
Just the people that are in the
What?
right position to see
The
it.
wizards.
Yeah. So the person that just put that in there, which is the second group of people, it's somebody that looks quite oriental, that is actually from that group. They've come forward and they've put a chitty in there with just 10 gold extra. So the amount that they're increasing their bid by is just a small amount. It doesn't give you a lot of to go on yet, but just thought I'd let you know. There was a 10 on that.
A plus 10.
Yeah, plus
It
10 or
it
whatever
will
they
be a
built
plus 10,
previously.
correct? Yes. Or if they haven't bidded so far, they're starting with 10. You could try and see if they've bidded so far and with a little bit of
So-
sweet talking, ask them.
The way they're running it then,
Mm-hmm.
from that, you could put in a number, Emrys, for example, of highest bid plus 1.
You got to put the number on there, though.
No,
can't-
you've gotta
can't-
put a number.
You got to put the number
But
on it.
he's already put one in there.
Of his own.
Yes. So he's already
So
got a
he's gonna
number
put-
in there and he's now
So-
added 10 more to that number. You don't
I
know what the
imagine that
original number
the
is, though.
chips we
too.
have on the table are probably unique to us, I imagine.
Well,
Well,
with
no,
our
you-
symbol on them.
You got to put your symbol on it.
Yeah.
With our smiley's face sigil.
Our all-seeing eye.
I'm surprised it wasn't a book.
Pyramid
On
with an eye in
a
it.
book. It might be on a book. It looks like a
God,
book.
how? I don't think we can actually wait that long for you to draw the symbol out.
I might have a stamp actually here somewhere.
Once again to the
There we
auctioneer.
go.
Yes.
Sorry about this, miss, but as my colleague said, frame of reference in this area. I'm not asking for what somebody has bid, but what would something like him go for?
She smiles at you. She says, and she turns her attention to the other 4 guests that are here bidding, and she says, esteemed merchant, she says, I think it is only fair that the people new to trading in our area have some kind of assessment from you all on what you think some of these slaves may be worth, in your own words. Not all of them, just those they pick out. So is this one you wish to know a rough assessment from this region?
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay, the first group of merchants, look at you, look at them. They are also slightly oriental looking, and they say, "Whoa, yeah, he might be okay. maybe a little bit of a combat guy. I wouldn't bid above about 20, 30 gold if I was you. It's not worth it. It's just cannon fodder. The second slavers, they look at you and they go, but you could feed somebody a long time on that one. Look how much flesh he's got. I would probably give a bit more. There's a lot of meat on him. Definitely worth it for the extra bulk. The third slavers, which are more old empire kind of looking human, straight standard common human looking, they think, ignore these two Xavian slavers. They disgust me. I think a man like this should be used well in lots of good labor. Definitely worth more than the 25, 30 they're saying. They will just buy him and use him. I think that this one is worth a bit more than that. And then the last person who has got a Noromir look, so very dark-skinned, almost like a blackened skin. They look at them and go, yeah, I agree. Could be used well. Work well. I agree with my old Empire friend here. So that's one of your free infos.
Thank you.
Do you wish to move on?
Yep.
Okay, next one is a human female. Quite fair, reasonably attractive. Not that strong. Doesn't look like she's had much hardship, but yeah, she's quite nice for a female human.
I guess not familiar.
No, I'll tell you if there's somebody familiar.
Okay, cool.
Just say pass if you want to pass.
I say pass.
Well, we need to put a couple of more bids in. I know this sounds strange.
There's quite a few more to do yet.
True.
Is this box open or closed?
They're closed. I'll tell you if there's an open one. And you can always come back at the end after you've looked at them all once. You can just say, I want to go back and bid on that one.
Fair enough.
Okay, number 6 is a large female orc, very strong. She is good tusked. She is nicely built.
Cool. Look at the tusks on that.
Yeah, she has got a good pair of tusks.
He started it.
I would expect no less from him.
Just say next when you want to go next. And you can do a run through.
Yeah, do a run through.
Okay, so next is a male orc that's probably not much bigger than the female orc. He has got a broken tusk and a bent tusk.
Shouldn't open doors with those.
Next is probably the biggest orc you've ever seen. He is flipping huge. He just looks like an ogre, but he's not. He's an orc. He is being manacled to the floor. He's looking up at you and just growling when he just sees all of you staring down at him.
Oh,
I don't think he wants to be here.
Next
Shocker.
is...
Does he growl or say anything?
No, he just goes...
I don't think he can read or write.
No, but
hey, Emrys, ask if he's
orcs are
got
fighters.
books.
Next is...
I actually ask him
Okay,
in Orcish.
yes.
Do you have it? I ask him in Orcish. Did you lose?
Come in here and try. At which point the Swana looks at the guards that are about to sort of like think about punishing, and she just gives them a shake and just goes, and they leave him alone. He's just like, "Arr."
So we can question this one then.
She smiles and says, "Be my guest. I'm not going to punish him."
Quick, hit him. It's not working. Do you want to ask him any questions? Does anybody else speak his tongue?
How good is your Orcish, by the way?
4.
Oh, that's not bad, actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm good with languages.
It's probably as good as his Orcish.
Does he look like he's been beaten in a fight, and that's why he's here?
he has clearly been beaten at some point. He has multiple scars. He's still bleeding from several little minor wounds as they've manacled and chained him down. But you don't think there's any beatings in the last day or two. Those wounds are closing up. Nobody's been brave enough to go in there, you think, since he's been manacled to the floor. He's clearly got a lot of wounds around his wrist where he's tried to break out of the manacles, but they're pretty strong.
And does it look like a standard lock on his manacles?
They kind of go on chains that go down through the floor and then back up into the wall. So it's really difficult for him to get enough leverage to get much power on them.
Oh no, I wasn't talking that. I was talking more along the lines of if somebody was to release him, say.
You would actually have to be in the cell. Which of course you can do. You can go into the cell, you can unlock him, but then you're in the cell with that orc, and that's up to you.
I know.
I think I know where Dave's
floor,
getting at.
stone floor.
Excellent.
There's stone floors, yeah.
I know where you're going with this.
The-
So
Bunch
the
of orcs
chains
in
go
cages.
through the stone of the floor, under the floor, and back up to the wall.
No, they're actually in ringlets that are actually bolted into the floor. They go through. So you would have thought if it was just the ringlets they were manacled to, he probably, the size of him, he could pull them out. But because they got some kind of weird system of chaining going on, it looks like the more he pulls on the one, the others give slightly and try and take some of the pressure out, and he can't get to the second lot of chaining. So they're kind of designed best they can to shock absorb single brute forces, but anybody was sensible enough maybe to do some kind of continual, slowly increasing force might actually be able to break out, but this orc is clearly too stupid for that. He's just going, unk, unk, and it's shock absorbing out, and it's coping.
It could be in the vein of the Magnificent Seven. I'll turn to Dave and go, 4? In regards to how many we could have on our side at the end of this.
Do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, carry on.
Yes,
I give them a sage
Obviously, this
nod.
guy's closed. This top is closed.
He
it,
is.
or
Somebody's
open?
bid on him. No, somebody's bid on him.
Somebody thinks they can-
Getting him from wherever he is now to wherever they want him to go is going to be the difficult part.
That'll be a fun one, yeah.
The next person is an elf maid. An elf male, and the male elf is covered in metal armor,
Oh, he's in armor.
and
He's
his
actually
hands are manacled.
Spellcaster.
Pardon? What? Actually, I don't know this.
Soana smiles at you when you say that, Truth.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Does the metal interfere with certain magics then?
Yes.
This troublesome elf can wield elements, but not while he's wearing that much armor, so he is completely safe.
Is the box closed?
The box is closed.
Actually, the Dom.
nice little secret signals you have. I'll carry on the next
Actually, I'm going to go as far as
One more level than me.
one.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want me to go to the next one so we can run through them all once, and then you can make
Go
some
on.
decisions?
I will write on a chit. And
Yeah, that's number 9, by the way, that was. So, okay, number 10, there is a very short guy in a cell. And when you look, you see he's just in rags, the same as everybody else, but his hands are manacled to stop him taking off an open-faced metal helmet they've stuck on his head, and poking out through the front of the metal-faced helmet is a gnome.
You mean the nose?
Yeah.
The schnoz of a gnome.
It's a big gnome nose. He's like,
another one.
So strange.
the helmet is to stop him from seems to be able to use his willpower to manipulate some of my guards sometimes, so the helmet stops it. We've seen these kinds of people before.
You have some interesting capture techniques to be able to capture this wide and varied collection.
We don't capture all of these. Many of these are brought to us by slavers and just put here for sale. We don't do any of the capturing here, I'm afraid. I wouldn't quite know how to even go about capturing some of these. Goes to the next one, number 11. There is a dark-skinned human, average built male. Box still closed.
Oh, these bloody closed boxes.
Next, number 12 is a dark-skinned human female, average build. Box is closed.
Do they look like they're from the same sort of like area?
From Noramir sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, so they're racially similar.
Yes. The next one, number 13, is an Asian female, pretty averagely built. Box is closed. You're gonna get some interesting ones in a minute. The next one is a what you would definitely class as the high human caliber. They're not a common human. They're part of the human race, but same as Ash, they actually have a completely different build. They're a lot more muscular than usual, and their general way that their hips and their chest and everything just seems to be a little bit more tapered differently than the standard common human. There is a male high human, very strong looking. His box is closed. Number 15, you recognize. He recognizes you. He does his best not to show he's recognizing you. And I will do a quick perception check. No, the Swana is too busy basically showing you the next one. The next one is the barman. The barman.
The barman. I take it his box is closed. Sorry,
his box is open and has a red sash through it. This is why she didn't notice the fact that the barman kind of quickly gave you a knowing sort of like, oh shit, and then kind of tried to look down at the floor. She turns to you and says, this next one, I'm afraid, has a red sash for it. That means red sash is...
What does that mean?
Hagen himself has come through and put a sash through and removed all chips, which means temporarily for now, Hagen wants this person. If you wish to bid on him, Hagen will send a representative across tomorrow at midday during the bid, and you can talk with Hagen's representative about any sashed slaves here to see if you can have an audience with Hagen to maybe purchase them.
So this is one we can question as well.
No, you can't question this person, especially with the sash to him. He doesn't even have a number. He is. He is sashed.
What he did?
I do not ask.
What's his use? What is his use? He looks like he's.
As in what his skills are.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't usually discuss sashed gentlemen slash slaves, but I think this person used to be a barman in town.
What owning him?
I think
so he can read and write and do stocks.
Yeah,
tally items.
I think he was like maybe a bar owner or an inn owner outside in the common area outside. So
I'll look with some sort of interest over at Riv and say he could do the. That might be handy actually. Well, thank you for the.
Can he cook?
Unfortunately, his red sash. We'll have to.
She turns to him and says, "Can you cook?" And he kind of nods.
We don't need him to cook. It's not what I want. I'm thinking of.
Yes, but I'm sick of the rations
the warehousing.
that we're eating.
I'm thinking of the warehousing and all of the tallying, and we're going to need somebody like that if he's good at stocks and.
But he is red sashed, and we cannot ask him if he can keep an account. I look at him and see if he nods his head.
If
he is purposely avoiding your looks.
If he's running
doing his best, look at the floor.
Capable of tallying and
move on. We'll see about
him stock.
Master, I think he is broken. He will not even meet our gaze. He is not worth anything.
Move on.
The next is a human female, and wow, is this one attractive. This is probably one of the most attractive human females that any of you that desire human females have ever seen. She has not had... She has a red sash through her box.
Now this one, this one can take.
I don't believe I just said that.
Take tallies.
Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait for two people,
and we'll rewrite it.
We'll wait for those two to recover
has
their
a red
composure.
sash.
She has a red sash through her box.
Briggs actually just
for the day. Yeah, I think Emrys has been falling off his seat.
I think he's crying. He might be crying.
Oh
He
dear.
might indeed be crying. What a childish joke that
Oh
was.
dear. Okay, we can carry on. The next,
Oh.
quickly moving on, is
I can see why she's been sashed.
weak human male.
Poor choice of words.
There is the box is closed, but you can see that all of the other people, they're not even interested. They just walk past. The only person that seems to look at them twice yet again to assess situation is the Xavian people that talked about food. They just yet again have another quick look at him and nod, and then they walk on.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm getting the wrong end of the stick here. Are Xavians known for cannibalism?
The only person here that knows anything about the Xavian area would probably be Emrys, really. And there are some Xavian cultures that are run by vampires.
You remember you played in the Xavian.
Oh, that was the
game.
Xavian.
That
Oh,
was
sorry.
Xavian. Yeah.
That was like 15 years ago, however long it was. So
There are
I've slept
some
since then.
vampire societies up there. The general population are human, but the people in charge are vampires.
I'm well aware.
Andros was Xavian.
So they're probably looking at them with regards
Yes.
to how big a blood bank are they.
Hence why they were saying yes to the honking great huge blokey down the road.
Yeah, they could probably feed on him for quite some time before he eventually collapses. Right, next would be another red sashed. It is the first dark elf you've probably ever seen, any of you. They have captured a drow. It is red sashed.
Could you give us a description of a drow in this particular setting?
Yes, so they are very elven featured. They are slightly shorter than the general wood and high elves. Their skin is more grey and their hair is usually white. Sometimes their skin is black, but it's quite often a grey. They have red eyes.
That person needs to get more sun.
Yeah, because you don't know about them, but in general, you would have heard rumours and story tells that they can see in the dark and that kind of stuff. Some of them can have some innate abilities, but usually no, they can just see in the dark and live underground. Next is a human male. The box is open and he's laying on the floor. He hasn't even bothered standing up for this, and when they shouted him to stand up, he kind of moaned slightly, and you think he probably is near death, and they've just left him lay on the floor. The box is open.
Surely it would behoove you to maintain your merchandise.
He arrived like that. I'm surprised he's still alive. We've tried feeding him, but he doesn't look like he's eaten much of it.
Some people don't take well to slavery.
Yeah, he'll probably just be fish food.
Do I recognize him, Tone?
No, it's just some... Looks like
Random
some guy that was, probably trying to escape from whatever area, fleeing from somewhere, caught out in the open, half starved, and then dragged here. They could even have been somebody that escaped the recent slaughter from a nearby town. You don't know.
Terrible when that happens.
Does he look like he's getting older as he lies there? Just for questioning.
No more than normal.
Asking for a friend.
There's a couple more left. So there is a next cell to that one is a human female in an identical sort of situation. Looks like maybe they're clothed similarly. They could have been friends or even husband and wife. They're both in a very bad way. That box
Go and
is
have a
also
look and
open.
see what. Not ask Traith to come and see what wounds they've got on them. See if we can see anything what's wrong with them. Might just need patching up.
Yep, you can
Would you
give
like a-
me... If you wish to inspect, Sawana will actually open the cell and let you go in to inspect. If you nominate and say, because the others do that a little bit, if you nominate and say, this is my physician, then they will be allowed to have a quick physical inspection.
Can my physician have a look at these too?
Of
Exactly
course.
what seems to be the trouble.
Of course, they open the jail cell.
Just a quick glance. Is the
Maligning.
box open or closed?
Open. On both
On
the
both
male
of
and
them.
female. Nobody's bothered bidding on them.
It'll probably be more expensive to heal them to actually buy them and heal them than sell them on.
Just general lying there, writhing, bleeding.
You can give me a
But
first
so
aid
close-
if you want, just to
Before I
give it.
even step in and
Oh,
investigate,
yeah.
I'm going to have a look.
Yeah, they're not.
Because if they're in pustulous boils, I'm going to say, you know what?
No.
Nah.
If they were diseased in any way, they wouldn't be brought into the general slave pen. They would
Depends
be
if you
got rid of.
diseases.
Yeah. So you have a quick look at them. You think they're just so weak and poorly. They have clearly been beaten a lot. They've been through a lot, and they've probably given up the will to live in their current situation. Both of them. And from just a quick glance, you just think these are two people that are pretty rock bottom. But given enough food and given a reason to survive, they might pull through.
Okay.
I think I'll put a gold in each of those.
Okay.
You might end up with them.
They close the box.
That's the hope.
Okay, next up, nearly at the end now. Next one is another red sashed, and it is the strangest, most exotic looking elf you've ever seen. You've never seen an elf like this. Skin is green, greeny, translucent-y, turquoise.
Turkey-wise.
Turkey-wise.
One might actually say almost like the colour of the sea.
Maybe.
Well, I was going to nudge Emrys.
That's a red sashed.
Ah.
Okay.
Got a red sash in it.
That has a red sash in it. That means you can debate over it with the person in question.
Yes.
Okay.
So all the interesting ones are red sashed, apart from the gnome with the metal helmet and the spellcaster.
And the very nice looking high elf female to start with, that she's expensive. The next two, though, are also interesting, and they are not red sashed. The next one is a male hobgoblin, and the one after that is a male gnoll.
I speak both of those languages.
As do I.
That is the lot. So, if you wish to go back and rebid on any of these, please do so now.
We
The
shall have
high
a-
elf female. Is she injured in any way?
No, she is being clearly well looked after, and you think she's been clearly well looked after from birth.
I'm asking Suena. Is she injured in any way?
She assures you that she is in perfect condition.
And her womanhood, is it intact?
That also is in perfect condition.
She would, in Sylvan to Emrys, she would make a fine sale to the Empire. We could get an awful lot of money selling her on, especially if she is fertile.
Is there any reaction from the woman, elf, female? For this?
She is keeping a completely blank face. She is
She
definitely been
twitched-
brought
did
up
she
very
twitch
well,
over,
you think.
or-
No, she is just
So we think,
complete
or
control.
rather, possibly a slave all her life.
Sounds like it.
Or nobility.
They're interchangeable, really.
Yeah.
One's a slave to people without money, the other one's a slave to people with lots of money.
You think she's probably been very well groomed to the point whereby she will not be fazed by anything people are saying. She definitely has an air about her whereby she is somebody of status by the way she holds herself.
Her carriage.
Yeah.
No, that's parked outside. They took that when they took her.
I'm just going to have to hit him with a stick, aren't I?
Big stick. Twice.
Are we allowed to confer?
Oh, of course you can. The others are going off to confer as well. They have little chats
Off
to see
to
if
one
they're
side
gonna
and confer.
pay
Right,
you.
so
Right
let's summarise where we are as well.
Riv,
So
can you pick locks? Can you pick locks?
I wasn't referring to that summarisation. Can we do the other bit first? In other words,
Could we keep that conversation until we're in privacy instead of in the middle of a slave pen?
I am speaking quietly.
Yes, I know.
And we're not.
You
Just
might
not
think
have it
so.
right here, right now.
yeah.
Okay, put money on the. Can't put money on some of the red sash people.
Well,
So
it's
we've
not
so
that you
far
can't
put-
put money on them. It's just if you do put money on them, you won't get them, but you can negotiate with Hagen's representative.
Correct.
Put a
There is
chitty in
nothing
then.
stopping us putting
Yes.
chitties in on
So-
them to have a chat with Hagen's representative. And that is said loudly
No,
enough that
there's
it can
no
be
chitties
overheard.
allowed to be put on them.
They-
We just actually
yeah.
asked to have a chat.
The chitties that were there in those boxes before when Hagen came over here at
took
one
them all
point,
out.
took them all out and threw in the bin. So the chitties are relevant. However, tomorrow at 12 o'clock, the Hagen's representative will be here, and anybody that wishes to discuss a red sash will be able to.
Then we shall do
So
that.
we so far have put
Certainly
two
the two
gold
that I
on
think would
the
be
boy and
interested
the
to
girl.
purchase.
Yep.
I put 25 gold on that elementalist elf.
Okay.
And you put one gold each
also
on the
2
sick
gold
people.
on on the 2 children, sick people. And what we'd like to do is try and get our hands on.
And you put 100 gold on the first one, knowing you can't get it really.
Yes, we did that. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, yes.
So were there any others that you wanted to put some money on?
The orcs.
The hobgoblin and the knoll?
Look
Well,
over to
How
the.
did they react to us when we approached?
The orcs or the hobgoblin.
The
No,
orc.
Hobgoblin and the knoll.
the hobgoblin stood to attention the whole time you were inspecting him,
He would do.
and the knoll just slathered and growled at you and rattled his cheese a bit.
Relative of yours, Traith? Sorry.
Yes.
Right, so I genuinely think the hobgoblin might actually be a good shout.
What
He's at
language-
least listening.
Does the hobgoblins
Yes,
speak
they
blistering
have their own
mints?
language.
They usually, because they're in the service more often
The
than not,
Sabians.
will be inhuman of some kind. Xavian human, if you've got it, would be the
Gotcha.
most obvious.
So what's
Or
blistering mints then?
Hobgoblin Sabian.
Blistering mints.
Blistering mountains.
Ah, there we go. That's how you contracted it. It looks like blistering mints on my character sheet.
Yeah. That's orcish you've got that in, yeah? Or null?
Yes,
Yeah.
to both.
That's the most common place you'll find orcs and nulls.
I'll say to the Hobgoblin, in Hobgoblin Sabian,
Oh, right.
have you fallen on hard times?
I tried
Or are you just
to
unlucky?
abandon my post and fled. They made me a slave and selling me here. It is my dishonor that I did so, and I wish to redeem myself.
What did he say? Sounded like grr 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 SSS SSS ack ack ack.
That's racist.
Good God, you speak such fantastic Hobgoblin.
Hey, if it was racist, I would have started with hoopty floopty floop.
I didn't know you spoke Elven. Oh, hang on. You
Yeah. He abandoned his post, disgraced himself, and he now wishes to amend.
Then he is being sold into indentured servitude.
And he will not try to escape.
So it might
He will
be
not
something
attempt to make an escape.
interested.
I reckon.
Is the box closed on the Hobgoblin or open?
It's closed. Somebody has bid on him. Because in fact, you've got 2 Xavians here, you can probably guess.
Guess that they bid on him.
Many on the orcs.
How much money would you like to put on the orcs? They've all been bid on, I do believe.
All
The
of
girly
them.
orcs.
They're going to.
Well, Andy.
Given, if I remember correctly, they said for the big bulky human guy, they said about 25 to 30. But we know one of them has put an extra 10 on that. So
So do you think 50 on the girly orc?
screw the girly orc.
I don't intend to let you do that.
That is the
That is
No,
not
no, I
going to
didn't.
happen.
What? No, no. Oh, no, no, I didn't mean that. No, oh, no, no, I didn't mean, no. You were joking, weren't you?
yes.
We finished.
Ah.
Yes, we took advantage of you yet again.
You think she
Just
might
like the
break you
big-
if you tried, though?
Some people might pay good money for that.
They might well pay good money for that.
No, I'm thinking of other things for the other orcs.
That's not why we're here.
We shall talk
Would
about it
please
later,
focus.
but put 50 on the big guy. Actually, Put 40 on the big guy. We won't get him.
You want 40 on the big orc? Or the big
Yes.
human?
Big orc.
Yes.
Big
Okay.
orc, 40. Okay.
Do you mind? Is that okay? No, I'm saying I'm telling Emrys if he
Mhm.
wants to, he can. I'm not actually.
Did you
I'm not saying for the party to do it. I'm saying to asking Emrys if he will do that. What
did
do
you
you
put
think?
money on the
If
gnome
you
as
have
well?
some idea of what it is you wish to do with him,
No, Traith.
Is the box open for the gnome?
No.
Yes, Emrys, I do,
that
And I
doesn't
think-
sound good.
and I think Riv knows as well.
Riv, do you want to give me a streetwise?
Yes, I will.
Watch him fail.
It's the highest likelihood with the dice rolls.
Was it streetwise? You said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, just a moment. 129.
Woofer.
You think maybe once or twice you might be able to stumble, trip, or whatever kind of way knock one of these boxes to get an idea of how many chits are inside some of them, but only once or twice. So on one or two of these, you could stumble into a box to see if how much it rattles.
Actually, what are they made of?
Wood.
The chits and the boxes?
Yes,
I'm just going to sit quietly and have a little think about that.
that's fine.
He's going to talk to the trees.
I'm going to try and figure out
That's why we
from
put them away.
exactly how many chits are in each box that's closed.
Well, do that thing. Do that thing up against one of the orc, the big orc box.
You think without being obvious, Traith, that if you had a chit in your hand and you placed your hand on the opening of the box, as though you're going to put the chit in, and then you're going to think and touch the box and try your best to concentrate, thinking as though, do I or don't I bid, do I or don't I bid, you might be able to try and get a feel for how much wood is inside. But yet again, you do that more than once or twice, and people are going to be paying attention to what you're doing.
I was thinking of trying to do it from a distance. Okay.
It's just dead pieces of wood, but you could get a bit of a feel with it if you're touching it, I think, and just kind of get an assessment of just how much wood, type of wood, and other kinds of things that you could potentially get without spell casting.
I'm thinking
Wow.
maybe. I know. Checking on the chips of the big guy, the big orc.
Big
and the
orc.
hobgoblin.
Big orc.
I'm thinking big orc and hobgoblin.
Big orc, do you want to fall onto that one just slightly and go, oops?
Yeah, just bloody.
You would definitely say that there was only one in there. There was just one slight little inside. One very small, as though there's only one chit on that.
Only one on the big orc.
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Now you've got to get that back across to the rest of us without being obvious.
He can come over.
You can keep having conflabs and chats, and then you can try and guess by doing some empathy rolls on which group would have been the one that's interested in the orc, if you wish.
I'm going to go to each of the elves and ask them if they speak Elven or speak Sylvan.
All of the elves, they are...
3.
Yeah, just checking through which ones, but not
Sea elf,
not
dark elf, and
including.
high elf.
Yeah, you're not talking dark elf. So there's an elf male that's the mage that you've got stuff on. There's the elf female.
Oh, the
High
guy in
boy.
metal armor. I couldn't tell whether he was Elven or not because he's in full metal armor.
Oh, his head's not.
All right.
So
He makes potions, Dom.
both
Ah,
both elves,
I need both eyes.
both elves, as in the female, she doesn't nod or she doesn't react to you at all. She's oblivious of your presence. The male elf in the armor will nod. The drow just grins and shows his teeth.
Are they
pointy
filed to
teeth.
points? Or are they...
No, he just shows his teeth at you. A little bit of a curling back of the lip. That's such a question. The sea elf doesn't seem to
You
understand what
didn't
you're
ask
asking.
the dark elf. You didn't ask the drow who spoke Sylvan, did you?
The sea elf doesn't even understand what you're saying. Just looks at you as if like, what the frick are you asking? Like,
Me.
Me. Yeah, I was going to say. That's fine. That answered the questions I wanted answered anyway.
cool.
So, do we know what financially we want to put on the orc.
Give me, when you do put it, give me the chit.
What's he gonna do? What's he
When
gonna
you put,
do?
I would like to put some on. 25 minimum, 40 at most. Problem is, we could end up with him.
No, because you can pass.
No, I've got the money.
So you want to have a pop at him because
Nobody else
he's
worried
hard
by
nosed.
this.
I do not want to have a pop at
If
him.
you all want to shop for yourselves with your own money, please go ahead.
Put 40 on the chit.
I think
Okay.
47.
So we have 40 for the big orc, yeah?
And I go over. Now, am I being carefully watched and listened to?
Not really.
When I put the chit, I got the chit in my hand and I sort of like kneel down in front of him. He's growling me, yes?
Yeah.
And I say in question, quite enough to but still gets over his growling. Revenge.
He takes a moment to kind of like understand the fact you're talking to him in, you know, his own language, and he looks at you a bit strange, and then he just grins back at you.
And I look around the place and give him a smile, because we've had some sort of like my tribe have had some sort of meetings with orcs.
Oh yeah, you can
I give him that
Work with
smile.
Yeah.
And I good. And I put the chit in the box. And walk away.
He looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
He shouts out to you in Orcish.
Yeah.
You clan! The guards look at him, and Swana just thinks, you clan, human.
In Orcish. Oh, obviously, it's all in Orcish.
Yeah.
We ride the rhino.
Yeah. You get me free.
I give him that smile again. To everybody else, it looks like I'm sort of like sneering at him, but it's sort of like a Orcish toothy smile.
And I'll say, could you stop winding him up, Ash?
He looks at you, and then he looks over at the Xavians that are clearly the vampire group, and says, that lot want to feed on me.
I once again nod, smile, and I turn around and says, mouthy bastard, isn't he?
I can't believe you were winding him up.
Swan
I was
is
in-
just like,
Nuts.
if you carried on, we would have to have attempted to have put some kind of medication on him to calm him down, but he looks like he's calm.
Yes, well,
I think
beasts,
he
a lot of them.
realizes he can't get out of there. So,
Strangely enough, the orc has now stopped fighting against his chains.
he realized, yes. So,
He just sits down and stops growling. But
What
he
about
is
the female
staring
orc,
intently
Ash?
at everybody.
what about the female orc, Ash? Can you
Said
do
in
a similar thing?
said in loud enough that said in sort of like sotto voce whisper, so I can be overheard when he says it. She'd probably be good for a fight or two.
What about breeding stock?
What do you think? Breeding
She's not-
stock for those?
She's not my type.
For an orc, she's... if you're into that thing, she is quite nice looking. If you're into
we're
that
talking
thing.
loudly in a thought we're sort of breeding them. So that we're not saying what we know. We already,
She's got good tusks.
If you want
nice
to,
pair of good tusks.
if you want to stick some, yeah, go for it. Put
Hmm.
some money on her.
How much are we thinking for that one then?
Trace, any idea on chip?
I've no idea.
Trace.
I'm intrigued with the
Elf.
all of them.
Yes.
I think we could get money back from the Empire from them for various different reasons. It certainly wouldn't be a difficult journey, nor a great distance. The well-to-do elf would probably be the best return, although the enchanter, I'm not sure they would care much for him. The two interesting sub-races, I think we could make a return, but it depends how much we spend out.
What about the one with the pickle sticking out of the helmet?
That's a gnome, not an elf.
Oh, my bad.
I
It's
think that's a
not just a
chili,
very
not a
small
pickle.
elf.
No, it's an impressive nose, though.
A proboscis of unusual size.
By the way, as you're doing this, one of the members of the vampire Xavians has walked off onto their own into the corner of the room and is motioning to Ash to come over.
Watch my back, and I stride over.
Always.
Thank you.
It's a male Orient. Looks at you, gives you a nod, and says, in Orcish, "So, Mr. Rhino Rider,
Shit.
40 gold, and we'll pass. You give us 40 gold, and we'll pass."
We ought to put 40 on him then.
We have, yeah.
So that means we'd be paying 80 for him.
Mm-hmm. I'll put your offer to the others.
Come and see us in the tavern later.
Okay.
And he heads back.
Out of curiosity, what's your interest in him?
Food?
Fighting.
No, food.
No, I'm telling you, fighting.
Ah, yeah. So you pay us 40 gold, we'll pass.
We'll see. As I said, I'll put it to my colleagues.
He nods, heads back.
Walk back over. Shit.
So you say that to us.
Yeah. I walk back over and say to you guys, shit.
Shit, what?
What?
He speaks Orcish, and he heard me.
You
We all
didn't
heard
really
you, just
say
some of
that
us don't
much.
speak
You were
Orcish.
quite cryptic in your statement, so...
But the shit, that was pretty obvious what that meant.
No, I'm on about... Well, you think your conversation with him, you were like revenge. And it was
you speak
quite
Orcish?
cryptic. It's not... You know, you haven't, just put it this way, you haven't put yourself in this shit. You just said a little more than you should have done. The fact that what you are is irrelevant to him.
No, but...
Except in respect, if he thinks we're going to pay 80 gold for the orc, then he's sadly mistaken, isn't he?
We'll talk about it at the inn after. There are other reasons. Remember.
I do.
Exactly. But how, are you going to put money on the elves and the mages?
We put 25 gold on the one elf, and 100, which we could add to on the
I think
elven lady.
it depends how you want to be seen. I think the money going for her at the moment would probably be upwards of 200, 250 gold.
Yes.
The enchanter, I think we're looking, the spellcaster, I think we are looking at probably upwards of 100. The mentalist, a likewise figure.
He's an elementalist. Yeah.
Mentalist, is he?
Elementalist.
We have two. We have the guy in the full armor and the guy in the helmet.
Is it an elf and a helmet?
No, the gnome.
The gnome.
The short guy with the pickle sticking out the helmet is a gnome.
Yes.
They put him in-
I
that's
mean,
why they
I was
put him
only
in the
referring
helmet.
to the elves. But so, do you want to bid on the gnome?
Right, I'm just going to...
I can't see us as
Are
being
we
able
building
to
this?
control him.
Why do we want the
Are we
gnome?
building a small army or something?
But We're not actually. Are we actually buying slaves?
Well,
Yes,
Slaves
that's why
now?
we are here.
slaves now, free men
Right, stick.
tomorrow. What can you say?
No slaves now, profit tomorrow.
Indeed, that is what we're here for. Profit,
That is why we are here.
profit. I tell you.
Profit is a widely, but there's many avenues of profit.
Look, put your money on who you want. I have put money on who I want. Which, when you think about it, is a really, really odd combination. 2 small children and an orc.
It will be an interesting fight.
There's also the two that aren't well, 2 sickly,
Two
other
sickly
folks,
people,
and
2 children,
the,
an orc.
the
So
animal
we've bought provisions for the orc
So-
then, have we?
Pretty
what do we
much.
what do we want to put on as extra then?
On
Right. Well, whilst you guys are talking about that, I'm going to do my streetwise stumbling into the box by the hobgoblin.
The hobgoblin. Go for it.
All right. Well,
I think we should put more
Yeah,
money.
you don't have to roll. It's just so you wander up.
I'll have like a little look, and then I'll go to lean forward and lose balance, and obviously like stumble into it. See how
Yeah,
many
the
things
beer
there
has
are,
gotten
I
to
think.
him.
you reckon on your previous roll of streetwise 2, and there are 2 Xavians here, so you probably think,
Yeah, probably food. Yeah.
well, no,
No,
hobgoblins
no, army.
are military.
Goblins as avians.
They're highly trained, sort of like soldiers.
May I have a chitty, please, Amorous?
Bang bang.
But this is an ex-deserter,
Thank you.
so
Mm.
so don't expect big amounts of money from the Xavians, because that would be an insult to the other hobgoblins.
I reckon 10 gold would get us that hobgoblin.
I
Sorry.
will
I reckon the
write
first.
upon the chitty I am going to put in. Instead of gold, I am going to write 4 doses of Eber root or Eber flour prepared.
They're not that big a chitty, but I mean,
Okay.
how exactly are you going to write that on a piece of square with chalk?
4 little diagram of an Eber flour prepared underneath it.
I just want 4 Eber.
Do you want me to write you a little note?
You do your
Go
best to write on this chitty that is worn. You think you understand what's written on there, but then you can just discuss tomorrow when they draw it out. They come and
Yeah,
look around the
they're
room.
going to
to
go,
try and-
and whatever the hell this is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
can we see what? Are you obviously writing this in front of us, Trey? So you
Yes.
like, what are you doing?
I'm putting in 4 doses of a very strong euphoric hallucinogenic as a bid on him.
Collateral.
Yes.
How much is it worth?
Do you like that?
I don't know in the
little
modern world.
piece of note paper you can put with the chit?
That might be worth it if you have a piece of
I'll
notepaper.
describe you with.
I'd like to
Small
point
note.
out if they can't read it, they'll talk to you tomorrow about it.
That's what I
There
was
is
thinking.
that. Indeed.
Actually,
Go with that.
wipe it off. Right, plus special.
Okay. That's probably easier for them to understand. Okay.
And then I will walk over and place my hand on the box, make eye contact with him, and in Elven, are you worth it?
Who's this now?
To the spellcaster, the guy in plate mail.
So
Whilst he's responding, I don't care what he says.
Hang on.
Hang on, I
I'm
thought
going
the
to
special-
out the box.
We've already bid 40 gold on him.
yeah, and I thought the
25
special was
gold,
for the
would you rather?
hobgoblin now. So
No, I don't.
I'm over by the hobgoblin.
right. So
They're doing
who's the
tomorrow.
special on?
The spellcaster.
I put 40 gold, 25
The
gold
elven
we have on him
spellcaster.
already.
Plus.
Exactly.
So with an additional chit, you're
Yes, which
adding
you can
that
do. A
to
lot of
it.
people have.
Which you can do, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. 2 chits and that should.
He's
that's-
going to go. He's going to go for a damn sight more
Quite
than
a-
25. I tell you.
Well, he is with those things on as well. So good idea, though.
He's just gonna ignore your question.
Remember, they
So
get beaten.
whilst
if they
I
get
wait
out.
for a response, I'm feeling out to try and figure out how many chits are actually in
Yeah.
the box.
2.
Clunk.
Well,
One of them is ours.
Yes.
3 with the one you had previously. So now another one's is 4. There was 2 prior.
Has everybody bid on who they want to bid on?
Yep,
Yeah, we'll
I
drop.
mean us.
I know.
Who did you want, Riv?
10 on the hobgoblin.
10 on the hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Then let us.
So I'm hoping my theory on this one's right in that one of them dropped 1 gold because why not? It's a gold, and then the next one up is either 2 or 5. So obviously 10 well outstrips that. But
Unless, of course, they went straight in for the.
Yeah.
This is a blind auction,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a
And
not
these,
this world's equivalent of Dutch.
these are probably
auction.
regulars. That's where you're first timers. So you're the blind auction. That's where they're the regular buyers.
And nobody knows how much we're bidding or how much we have. Therefore, we're a new
Exactly. So they're
player in the game. So they probably upped their bids on the ones they wanted.
well, not necessarily. Now that they know that you're players, they might make deals in the background with regards to passes to try and assess and cut their losses. Because they don't know what you're putting in.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how rich you are or what you're after.
Let us go back to the rooms, have dessert,
Okay.
have companions.
Well, thank you very much.
Talk.
I'm going to end this episode now. Very interesting bids. Very cool. And we will pick up next episode to find out exactly the outcome of all of this bidding. Thank you very much, everybody, and see you next time. Bye.